Welcome to the Love Language Leadership Summit. I am Shannon Wooten, and with me today I have certified life coach, sex coach and energetic alchemist, host of the Olivia Seline Podcast and the ACTIVATE Mastermind, and believer that vibrant, intimate relationships lead to an effortless magnetism because well-fucked women change the world. She is my BFF. She is my ride or die homie. She is my co-host of Soul in the Raw podcast. Thank you for being here, Olivia Seline.
I literally was just telling Shannon before this, I'm low-key nervous and she's my best friend and we talk on this kind of stuff all day, every day. But there is something about this summit that feels so expansive and next level of anything we've ever done before. And I'm so honored to be a part of it. Honestly, thank you for having me.
That feels so good. It's kind of ironic. Everybody I've been talking with today, clients and interviews alike, have all been telling me that they were feeling this belly tumble, whether before the interview or on the client call. They're experiencing things right now. They're in the energetic, vibrational field right now. So I don't know if it's the summit. I don't know if it's just the state of things. We're getting beyond Mercury retrograde. Hell yes.
It ended yesterday.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. All that is cold. But either way, I'm so excited about this. If you are tuning in, whether it's on YouTube or you're listening to this in an audible format, whatever it is, and you're catching this is the first just inclination of the Love Language Summit that you're catching, go back and please watch the first one so you can get the sentiment behind this and just usurp all of the amazing speakers that are coming through to you and just being the organic, innate, authentic self. And in light of you feeling this energy and feeling low-key nervous, which is so, I think it's because like we're just best friends and we always want to be like, you know, what we call quote unquote come correct and like deliver our most high vibe self for each other. Yeah. And I think that says a lot about our friendship and just who we are to each other.
I think too, it's just, there's like this next level. We've both been pulling back so much in so many areas and going through this huge expansion and growth and healing and release in our own lives, both personally and then obviously together and in our marriages and in our businesses. And this feels like almost like a rebirth, like there was a whole death and this is like the first thing that like little, you know, babies coming out of just like, we're here, like a whole new rebirth into a next level. And then just the lineup of speakers, the people you're attracting with this, I can't wait to go back and watch all of them. It just feels elevated and like a different, it's very luxurious too. There's like a luxury vibe to it and expansive vibe and sexy vibe to it. I don't know. Like it's exciting. It feels like Christmas.
Thank you so much. And that's, you know, Olivia, this is not because she's my best friend and she is, but this is the key, the coup de grace, the sparkle, the cherry on top that Olivia does with such grace and magnetism is that she has this way of explaining things and articulating the vision that she has in her mind, because I never really thought about that before this conversation, even with what brought me to wanting to create this. But yes, it does have for me very personally, this feeling of like a little baby bird or velociraptor, you know, whatever your whatever your metaphor is coming out of its little shell. It feels very much that way for me. I know you personally, so I know right now we are kind of in the same wavelength, and this is very much the impetus behind why I wanted to do this. I wanted to start us all having a conversation about love in a new way, right? Because I think we have this vibration, this perception of love is it's very frilly, very frou-frou. It's something you don't talk about because it's a lot of fluff. And because it has that mindset or that sentiment behind it, we almost stuff it down and are like, well, we can't really talk about that because nobody will take us seriously if it's like we have our head in the clouds, whatever negative connotation inserted here. So that leads me to my first question in my curiosity, which is what made you say yes to being a part of this?
Well, I mean, you're my best friend, so I'll pretty much do anything you tell me to jump off a building. I'll fucking do it with you. Hell yeah. Let's drink some tequila and jump off a building. But it just, again, like it really, I don't mean to be repetitive, but it's just something felt different about this, like something that you haven't done before. And like when you were talking about it, I believe in energy being everything. I really, really do. Everything is energy, and your energy around this and the container that you were creating and holding space for, just, it was palpable, it was potent, it was different, and it was undeniable. It was like there was something that was like pulling me towards it, even like the graphic and seeing that come together, hearing you riff about it on Instagram stories and then in text messages, getting to hear all the behind the scenes before it even launched. It was just, it was like, ooh, like how do I become a part of that? And I'm lucky enough that you're my best friend and you trusted me enough to be a part of it. But I was just like, there just feels like there's something here that we haven't explored yet. And I was just so excited to be able to be behind the scenes with you in it, and then getting to be a speaker. And it was like, it was a no-brainer. It was a hell yes. It was a full body hell yes.
Yes, I don't pay her to say these things. She's a friend. And I'm so grateful for that, because again, even just listening to her now, again, whether you're watching it or you're audibly listening to it, I'm sure you can glean yourself just how articulate she is and how there is movement behind your words. So thank you for sharing that. And what I also hear is also kind of an undertone of that's also how you view love, right? Love is an energy. Love is a pull. Love is a vibration. And love is your discernment of that, right? Whether it's a, yeah, that feels good, or no, that doesn't.
Absolutely. Love is definitely, it's an energy. It's a frequency. It's an embodiment. It's even like a yoga. It's a posture. It's the way our body opens, the way our body softens, the way we feel drawn to things, the way we feel repelled by things, the thing that connects us all. I really do believe, whether you believe in God, angels, universe, source, whoever, there's this one true love that connects us all as living beings. It's like the heartbeat in all of us that, and yes, we can go into like sexual energy and the chi and the prana and the sexual or energy, orgasmic energy, kundalini, whatever you want to call it, that flows through all of us and gives us that life. There's also the love, and it's who we are at our very core. It's the truth of who we are. We've just forgotten a lot of the time, right? There's so much fear, there's pain, there's suffering, there's so much that takes us out of that, and we forget that we have access to it within us always. It's absolutely at the core of who we are, and it definitely is a choice. It's something we have to choose. I mean, whether I choose to love Shannon every day, whether I wake up and choose to love my husband, the days I choose to hate myself or love myself, it's a choice that I'm constantly making. And it really, 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 really is that energy. It's that wave that just beats through every single one of us. And it's not flu or foo or like whatever. It's not, this simple thing. It's not, I think that we forget that we're here to love, we're here to be love, and we're here to, Danielle Laporte explains it beautifully of like, there's no shortage of love, right? Like there's an abundance, it's limitless of the love that we can have, the love that we can be. And then instead of depleting ourselves by giving love, it's extending and radiating love out of us through every word we speak, through every sound we sing, through every, smile that we give. We have the opportunity to spread it, and we can either spread that love or we can spread hate and we can spread fear. It's a choice in every single moment of every single day.
I love what you're saying, because this is something that I dive into a lot, which is our subconscious. And with what I hear you saying is, love's an energy. Yes. Love is a connection. Yes. But love is a choice. And what you're receiving from love is a result of a choice that you're making about love, right? And whether that's conditioned in you, it's environmentally impacted upon you, circumstantially, experiential, whatever it is, there is a decision that you're making about what that energy feels like for you, of what you're accepting, what connection that you're giving out into the world feels like for you, that you're accepting. And that it can be subconsciously ingrained to us, like I just said, based off experience or whatever, that we condition ourselves to believing that this is only what I can get from love, and this is only what I can give with love. So that said, what does love mean to you?
What does love mean to me? Yeah, I think too, like to piggyback off of that, we do forget that it's limitless, and we think that we can run out of it, or that we're undeserving of it, or we're unworthy of it. And I think that's like where really true work happens, is when that can be like our constant choice, and it's turning it on every single day and every single moment. If I'm turning on to love, I'm softening in love. I want to feel deeper love. I want to extend love out of me. I want to radiate love. And what love means to me, God, these are big questions.
Yeah.
We did not send these before, so we did not get to prepare. Okay. But to me, what is love? I mean, it really does like flow beautifully from the last question of just, it's an energy. It turns you on, it lights you up, it ignites you, it activates you, it connects you. It is this, when I think of love, I don't think of hard and contracted. I think of soft and open and in your body, really grounded, really rooted, almost like you're flowing in it. Like it's a wave that moves through us and again, connects us to all. I feel like this is a little repetitive, but it's true. Hitting it home, they say repetition is how we learn. But to me, it really, whenever I think of love, I think of even expanding in love through other people. So when I think of like my husband, for example, I love him and I can, we say it so lightly. I love you. I love you. I love you. But it's like, I love you. Like, it's like this deep in my bones, this feeling of ride or die, no matter what, rain or shine, like I'm in this. And of course, to each their own. Sometimes we have to walk away. I absolutely am a proponent for you doing what's best for you. So I'm not saying you say that you love them and then things don't ever change, but that's where the choice comes in, right? Am I going to love him today or am I not? Am I going to love myself? Am I not? Mm-hmm. But when I think of, as a sex coach, right? If we go into the sex side of this, love is something that you experience in divine sacred union with your partner. And it's this ability to go beyond the known, go beyond the physical, and drop so deep into the depths of love, into that energy that just radiates through your entire body, seeing beyond the known and experiencing something on a different level. And it's heart-based, it's soul-based, it's like lower chakra-based of just that. This is a really hard way to explain it, but this knowing that you are safe and you are held and you are known and you are experienced. And so I look at that as one side of love, because obviously I'm not, fucking my friends at this point in my life, but I can love them to like the depths of me, but I'm able to go deeper into love more and more all of the time because of the way that I can surrender to, as David Deida would say, love's greatest bliss, the depths of love through sacred union with a partner, through a sexual energetic exchange. And that lights me up, turns me on, and allows me to then radiate the love into the friendships, into my relationship with Shannon, into my content, into my audience, into my work, because I am well fucked, whether it's by yourself or with a partner. That pleasure, the way that pleasure opens you, the way that ecstasy opens you, the way that surrender and that receptivity and that, connection to God, right? Sex is a beautiful way to have access to God and the divine in a very, very, very epic way that you can't do otherwise. And so for me, that's what love is. And I'm painting this picture. It's hard to articulate and put into words, but if you've had that experience, you know what I'm talking about, like in your very bones. It's like a remembering, a waking up to who you are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And thank you for painting that picture, because you did something, and I don't even know if you're aware of what you did.
I kind of black out when I talk, so I don't know what the fuck just happened.
You're very articulate and aware, seemingly in conversational style. Mm-hmm. So we're with you, but you did something that was in honor and reflective of what I think that you're saying there. Is when I asked you the question, which first and foremost, everybody responds to this question the same way, like, oh shit, right? And I love that. I love that human organic response, because I think that's what love is. Love almost is undefinable, because it's so layered, it's so big, it's so individual.
Amen.
And yeah. You did stop. When I asked you the question, you stopped, you closed your eyes. And another way that I think of the word choice is I think of presence.
Yeah.
When we are in opportunity with choice, right? Because sometimes we can feel really belabored by choice. Like there's so much shooting at us. I don't know what to do. I call it information paralysis, task paralysis, whatever. We become immobile by the opportunity, the plethora of opportunity that's available. And that's one way of responding to choice, right? Another way of responding to choice is what you utilized as a beautiful representation of love, which is, limitlessness, and it's vast and it's so big and it's hard to define, and you did it anyways, and you became present to yourself into the choice, because we can look at love as something that I have to, right? How many times have you been in a kerfuffle with a family member and you're like, I don't fucking like you right now. I love you, but I don't fucking like you. It feels like I have to, right? It can also feel that way even with your job. You can have moments where you love your job, but there's shit you have to do that you don't like. Right? And it becomes an opportunity, what I heard in your presence about who you are in your relationship, who you are as a coach, and who you are and believe about divinity and that space that you occupy, is that love is a choice of, I get to. Being present to see that I get to choose who I give it to, who I don't give it to, who I receive it from. It's a beautiful representation of, I think that when it comes to love, we're constantly thinking of motion. What can I do to show? What can I do to put out? And I think it's beautiful to bring it back into presence and containment to say, well, what do I get to do with this?
Well, and it's not in what we do, right? It's in who we are, that very overused, but so true. It's not in what we're doing. It's in who we're being. And when I say a remembering and a waking up to, because it's that literally when you experience the depths of love, you really do remember. It feels like a coming home to, because that's who we all are. None of us came into this world, well, this could be a whole conversation. Did we choose to be here? Did we, whatever. But I believe like we came into this life, right? And of course we don't remember like what happened necessarily before, unless you go into past life regression and whatever. But you came into this life, you knew you had lessons to learn, but you came in this sweet little innocent baby who was loved, who knew she was loved, who knew she was worthy, who knew he was worthy. And then all of a sudden, tainted and tethered over time through the lessons we learn, it's almost like we feel like love is taken from us, or love is dulled, or love isn't ours anymore, or we have to earn it, or who do I have to be in order to get love, right? But when you start doing this work and you remember like each and every single one of us is love at our core, and it's in who we are, it's in our DNA, it's in every cell of our being is love that we always have access to, and no one can take it away from you. Someone might maybe, I look at it as like the headlight of a car, right? And you go through a lot of shit in your life and you've got some dust and some dirt there, maybe some really intense shit that you've got to like go in and like clear it off. But your light was always there. Your love was always there. Your power was always there. It's just, we have to clean it off. We have to wake up and remember that this is who you are. And I'm not more love. Shannon's not more love. We're all one love. We all have this abundance and this limitlessness available to us, but it's having to choose, and it's choosing it even in the hard moments. I mean, dear sweet baby Jesus, like there are times where I just want to like take out my hoops and like, you want to fucking go? Let's go. Like I will take you out. Like I have a fire in me, and I will take you out back, and I will do some harm. But it's in those moments that I have that human experience. I have safe places to go to be able to like get that out, right? Feel it fully, have the human experience, but then get to say, how can I see this through a lens of light and love and grace, and choose to see the divinity and the perfection in the other person and in myself, and know that I get to choose it. And even when my husband pisses me the fuck off, because, that's marriage sometimes, it's me saying, I know that love isn't always easy. Love isn't always simple. Love isn't always, the human choice, but it is the soul's knowing. It is the ability for each of us to get to choose that even in this hard shit, I am choosing to see the love. I'm choosing to be love. I'm choosing to give love, and not being a pushover and just like letting people walk all over you, but really just remaining so much in your truth that you don't waver from the love that you are and the love that you have access to, each and every single one of us.
This reminds me of how I get dressed every morning.
Oh, please take us on the journey.
Yeah, it reminds me because some people have a very streamlined, one-sided singular sense of fashion, and I like all sorts of fashion. You know, some days I'm wearing leather black pants and other days I'm wearing a really frilly dress, you know, what the fuck ever. But it's getting up every morning and deciding, okay, well, who am I today? Right. And I'm not the same person every day. Like, call it multiple personality disorder, but whatever. I don't give a fuck. That's who I am. Like, I have different energy. I have, you know, it's the same. We're just talking about having periods, you know, it's the same as like my energy on my period is not the same when I'm playing full out and not on my period. It's just different. It's a choice. And, you know, picking an outfit out is the same to me as picking out who am I going to be about my love? Who am I showing up as in the world? You know, what outfit do I have on? How am I wearing my love? And how am I expressing that love? And how am I letting love impact me? And it's a definite choice. And that's the same in relationship, right? There is such a thing as saying, I don't feel love here. And that's a hard choice, right? And you can have those moments in marriage, and you can have those moments in friendship where you're like, I don't feel like my needs are getting met. And that doesn't mean we have to love them any less. It is just a choice of how we're honoring our love in that moment. And that leads me to my next question. And that is, what does love mean to you about others?
What does love mean to me about others? Damn, these are like short and concise and simple and really deep. And I just keep wanting to sing Dolly Parton's song, Love is like a butterfly, as soft and gentle as the sky.
Olivia loves some serious Dolly. Like, she's DP for life.
I just grew up on Dolly. She's nostalgic to me. And she's still killing it. Okay. That woman is like 75 and she is still on tour, and she is still getting up there in her whole little get up with her big old hair and her big old boobs. And she is living her best life. Like, next life, I get to be Dolly. It just is happening. Okay. What does love mean to me about others? Damn. You know, I think that this is one of the most difficult things that we struggle with in this life, because it's so much easier to go into the human ego personality side of being like, fuck her, fuck him, no thank you, right? And just shooting them down and tearing them apart and going into judgment and elevating ourselves and putting them down, and, you know, the condescending and like all of these different things. There's so much suffering on this planet, and it breaks my heart. And that's why we're here, right? To radiate love and light and be able to go up in frequency and be able to experience more of the high frequency, more of the joy, more of the love, more of the abundance, more of the goodness that is available to us. But being a spiritual soul in this work, waking up to this remembering of love in a human body who also has a personality, who's also been through some shit and back. So again, I can go if I want to go. I can take you out. I could take you out if I wanted to. So what love means to me about others is that I have to remember that, again, we are all one, and we are all the embodiment of love. And when I choose to, not always first, sometimes it goes into that little freak out, little J-Lo, Olivia, Jenny from the Block style, going back into, though, what I know and believe to be true. And when I go into it and I remember they are love just as I am love, and we all have it within us, and we are all, I choose to believe and know that we're all divinity in form. We're all an aspect of God in a body. We're all an aspect of source having an experience through us in a human body. And therefore, I almost have to see past their bullshit, see past the personality as hard as it is, pull that back and choose to see the grace and love and divinity in them, and be like, okay, how do I want to show up here if I know that they are also love at their core? And how can I show them that through who I choose to be in this exchange? How can I choose to like be the bigger person, I guess you could say, as annoying as it is, and choose to say their love, I am love, therefore we are one. And so who do I want to be here in this exchange if I choose to believe that they are love? And it's hard. It's really hard a lot of the times, and it's a constant choice every single time, and it's a practice, and it's like, you know, learning a new way of being, which is really difficult because a lot of us weren't raised on this belief. None of these, like, why are these questions so hard? Because we don't ask these questions. You know, we're not taught growing up in school and church and religion and whatever, like it's always an us against them. It's always a fear and a love. It's always a hate and a love. Like there's always this divide, but truly at the end of the day, we're all connected. And so if you are like, I'm love, well then you better fucking believe that, you know, your other people are loved too. And they might have some more shit, but you get to be the embodiment of love in that exchange and possibly help heal, right? Some more of their hurt or their pain, be able to help reawaken their knowing of themselves as love through how you're showing up there. So that was a very long-winded answer, but these are deep ass questions.
I'm going to accept that as a compliment. And that makes me feel so great. And that answer was, I feel fully loaded and in such a good way because, and, you know, obviously weigh in here, this is conversational, but I believe, and I have seen, and I have done, I'll own that myself, staying in relationship with other people out of feeling that that was the way of love and subjecting myself to a relationship that was not honoring my love and getting confused about the relationship of love and thinking that, well, to love means to endure at my own detriment. And it is inevitable, no matter how much we love people, that our human experience does not dissolve just because we elevate into this heightened stage of spirituality. You're still a human. You are still a human inside yourself. You chose this life. However, like Olivia said, you choose to believe it happened. You're here, right? And it does not involve becoming the sacrificial lamb, because in that case, when we are subjecting ourselves to behavior or treatment that is not in alignment with us, does not feel good for us, does not feel like we're in right relationship, is not familiar from our heart space of this feels good, this feels like me, I actually am in remembrance of who I am consistently in this relationship. When we choose the other, we're actually diffusing that relationship to love. And so sometimes honoring, and I love that you put it this way, honoring somebody's right to always be in their highest and greatest goodness of love sometimes mean determining that you're not a fit. Sometimes 100%. Means walking away. It does not mean, and I love you and I see you if you are in a relationship with love that is like staunch. It has to be one way or the highway, right? You know, go at your own pace with this, but it does not mean that love cannot evolve. It does not mean that down the line you can't come back together and have an appreciation for that person's personhood. But sometimes walking away is saying, I believe that you are lovely at the core, but I can't see it. And because I can't see it and I don't relate to it, I'm going to walk away from this. So I'm not in a relationship with love where I'm damaging you or making your relationship to love wrong so as to make me right, or vice versa, making you right so as to make me wrong. And I think that that's such a beautiful element about love that we ignore, that sometimes to love someone is to walk away.
100%. Oh my God, the amount of times I've done that. And that's just it. I really do believe your body has answers. And whenever my clients are like, you know, do I stay with this person? Do I not? I'm not really sure, whatever. And I'm like, okay, here, first of all, I don't have the answer for you there. Like that's so personal and so individual. But what is your body telling you? When you're being quiet with yourself, when it's out of the charge, like not in the heat of course, when we're fighting, it's like, fuck this person, I'm done, like goodbye. But when things are at that neutral, and sometimes that has to happen, but you're at that neutral, what is your body saying, right? Because love, it doesn't always feel good. It just doesn't. There's times where it's like, like I love this person so much, but this is testing me. And so I look at what my body does. Does my body contract when I get a text from them or when I have an exchange with them? Do I feel off? Do I feel kind of sick? Do I feel like something just energetically, we all have access to this, feel in your body, give yourself that space where it's like something is just off here, trust that. Or does my body open? Does it soften? Does it expand? Do I feel like a new person? Do I feel like they're growing me? They're stretching me. Maybe they test me sometimes, but it still feels mutually beneficial. It feels like a mutual, you know, exchange of energy, because that's the other thing is love shouldn't be depleting. I can love someone so much, but I can have a boundary with them and say, you know what, here's like what I'm available for. Here's what I'm not. Love is limitless, but love has boundaries, right? There's still there's still this needing to protect yourself and your heart and your soul and your knowing and your being. Like, you are responsible for you. And it's not just taking everyone's shit and being like, I am love, right? Like, it's not about people throwing rocks at you. It's about you being able to say, I am love and you are love, but here's what I need to stay in love. Because what I notice is with these people, I can love them. I can see the love in them, but I can actually find that they're either like draining my love and I'm like, oh my God, there's like nothing left. I'm feeling depleted and kind of gross and kind of icky after that exchange. Or it just doesn't feel sustainable. It doesn't feel healthy. It doesn't feel mutual, right? It feels one-sided. And I know the other side of this as well is we almost want to, especially as women, save people. I want to save her, though I see the love in her. I see the best in her. I see the greatness in her. I want to rescue her. But that's actually not loving. That's very disempowering of that person. You thinking that you are the savior and you're going to rescue them is taking their power away instead of giving them the power and saying, they have the opportunity to save themselves, and I can choose to love from afar, because love doesn't know time or space. Energy doesn't know time or space. I can think of someone that I was in a relationship with before, or friends I've had, or clients I've had that I've had to let go, or whatever it might be, someone who's wronged me, someone who's hurt me, and I can see them and I can send them love. And you better believe like that's speaking blessings and love into their life. And that will come in however they're going to find it. I don't have to be there to be a part of it, to know that it's happening. I just trust that this is me. This is my love. This is what feels expansive. This is what feels contracted. And I have to trust that and know that what is for the highest good of me in my boundaries and my walking away and my closing doors and whatever that might look like is for the highest good of all. And it's also good for them, because it's not healthy or helpful for either of us if we are both love, but we're not feeling the love together, and we're not both like adding and radiating and like circling the love in our relationship. It's not healthy. And therefore it's not doing what we're here to do, which is be love and light and spread that to the rest of the world.
Mm-hmm. And I hear you saying what I think that people often try to dismantle love from being, and you use the words challenge and ease. It can be challenging, and it can also have this feeling of like effortlessness and ease, like if someone's sucking the life out of me, right? And said another way, I also hear that as love is work.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And love can also not be work, right? It's all a choice. And sometimes, and I know you know this, and I know this, as being coaches, there are so many times that we have had to have been reminded from our own coaches as a reflection in a mirror, that we also remind our clients of as a reflection in a mirror. I never said that this was going to be easy. But I also said that it was going to be worth it, right? This is the conversation that you I'm going to say the word should be having with yourself before you enter a coaching relationship, right? Like, what are you hoping to get out of it? Well, I only want it to be easy. Well, everything in life has a juxtaposition. Yeah. For every, equal action, there's a reaction, right? It's just science, physics, whatever. It's law of attraction, it's a lot. If you're going into something with the mindset of it can only go one way, then what do you do when it becomes work, right? Do you abandon it? And at which point that also becomes a choice of who you are about love, right? Do you give up on yourself when it becomes a challenge? Because as you pointed it too, there are so many things, including being a coach, that I went into and was like, this shit is not fucking easy. This is taking 12 months of my life to go through this program. Then I have to get clients. I have to start a business. And I had to love myself through the ups and the downs and the failures and the wins, because that was my choice that I was making about who I wanted to be about love in my relationship to self, as being a coach for myself, being a coach for other, and starting a business. And just because that's in a professional context, it's the same everywhere, right? Are you going to give up on this relationship because it gets hard? And that's not to say that walking away is any less of an option, right? Because sometimes we do need to walk away. Yep. Olivia and I have both been in businesses that no longer suited us anymore. And we honored the love of saying, you're right, I no longer choose to be in a relationship with this sort of challenge.
Right.
I'm going to go towards my own definition of what I'm looking for now. And that actually just segues beautifully into my next question, which is, how does love influence who you are in your business?
Jesus. Okay, ask the question again.
Yeah. How does love influence who you are or what you do as a business owner?
Really, really beautiful question. Okay. So I've run businesses out of fear before many times. I have built things out of fear. I have signed people on out of fear, out of lack, out of scarcity, out of should, out of comparison, out of, oh, this is what, they say to do, and here's what I'm going to do. And, oh, this will make me fuck tons of money, so I'm going to do this. And it's not sustainable because fear is not who I am. Fear was just something that I had taken on at the time of doing that, as this is how it must be, right? And I ask my clients all the time, are you doing this, are you making this decision, are you doing this, saying yes to this opportunity out of fear? And that's lack, scarcity, fear, doubt, anxiety, shoulds, or are you doing this out of love because your heart opens and expands and you feel drawn to it, you feel lit up by it, you feel turned on by it? Those are two very different businesses, right? And there's so much happening in the business world right now that is, you can taste it. It's palpable when you do this work and when you wake up to love, right? And you start to really welcome it in and experience it in different ways. It's palpable. You can feel and taste the fear and the hate and the divide and the comparison and the competition and the scarcity and the lack and the doubt and the anxiety that is woven into so much of the business world. And it's not sustainable. I really do believe that will not last. I do believe that there will be a day on this planet where that shit crumbles because fear is not who we are, right? Love is who we are. And so when I look at how love influences me in business, I look at that being the question I ask myself in every single decision, every single opportunity, every single creation, every single offer, every single interaction, every single relationship. Is this love? Am I being love in this? Do I feel love in this? And those are the things that I say yes to. So building a business based on the foundation of love and abundance and trust and overflow and surrender and, worthiness and all of this, my business has been completely different. It does have a lot more ease to it. It feels lighter. It doesn't feel as heavy. I'm not gripping, like white knuckling like this when I built it in fear. My hands are open. I'm just flowing with it and I'm here for it. And I pull back when I need to pull back. I say no when I need to say no. I create a boundary when I need to create a boundary. It's just changed everything in every single way. And I really do believe like there's so much of this work that needs to be done behind the scenes, as we're all committed to. I mean, so many of us, and I hope even more over time. Because if you're just doing what everyone else is doing, or you're just jumping in and like you're not healing your own shit, you're going to naturally fall into the fear and the shoulds and everything that everyone else is doing, versus being able to come back into your own body and be able to say, like, what's my next best step here when I am in love and I am in power and I am in worthiness and I am in abundance and I am in trust with that which is so much greater than me. You build a business that's sustainable, healthy, just, right? And a business that still has boundaries. Just because I radiate love doesn't mean I'm overextending myself or overgiving or trying to save or rescue anyone. That's also fear, right? When I tapped into love, I realized I can have healthy boundaries and I can have this be where I can love people, just like getting on an Instagram story. I can like speak love to people and whoever watches it is feeling it. That doesn't mean I have to answer every person's DM or give them every single thing, because again, that's out of fear of like, oh, I need to get these people to like me, and oh, I need to like overgive and overextend myself. Now I'm like, breathing in love, being well fucked so that I am, extending love in everything that I'm doing. And from there, I'm able to show up and I know in my body, I know in my heart when to be in service, when to pull back, when to do me, when to be there for other people, when to like dance in between. And I finally, like even in these last few months, like my business finally feels sustainable, and it's growing and expanding at ways I can't fully explain logically, but I'm not in fear of it's going to, explode tomorrow, or what if Instagram goes away, or what if this person quits on me, or what if this happens? I'm just so in flow with love, and that being the divine, that being the universe, source, creator, God, angels. Like, I know that I'm held. I know that I'm okay. And when I stay in love and I am love, that means I'm in my purpose. And that means that I'm here doing what I need to do, and everything's going to line up exactly as it's meant to.
I want to honor you for all of that. And, as your friend, like I'm just sitting here and letting your greatness and your brilliance just kind of shine on all over me, and I receive it fully. It's like this warm, beautiful, sparkly gold blanket. And I'm sure all of you watching and or listening feel the same way. But I want to honor you for a second to just acknowledge your admittance of, I've done it both ways. And I've allowed myself to be a witness of who I am in both of those circumstances, both of those experiences. And yes, I built a business out of fear, but nowhere in there did I hear you damning yourself or making it wrong, because I am positive, just knowing you, that there were elements in what brought you to that particular business or that circumstance that were definitely infused with love. It's definitely
totally.
It wasn't absent. It just evolved, in which case you allowed yourself to make the choice. Well, what would I like this to feel like? And you, at the end there, kind of wrapped it out with a beautiful bow about choice. And what I hear in that is that choice for you is about flow. And I think of love this way almost all the time. To me, love is like a river, right? It goes in all directions, and it does have a flow. And there are moments where the river or the ocean or whatever body of water you're thinking of is getting, right? It's being filtered into that particular pond or area or tide. But then there are also moments where it's receding and it's going out and it's giving back. And so what I hear and what you're saying is, as a business owner, and what you do in your reflection is allowing yourself to know that I'm showing up in this way so as to give. Yes, definitely. But it is also to get.
Yeah, it's just it's like that beautiful, it's the cycle, right? It's the give and receive and the give and receive. And, the more you're giving love, the more you're receiving love, the more you open to love, there's so much, it's exactly that, the evolution of it. Because it's not like I woke up and was like, I'm going to build a business in fear today. Let's see how this goes. Like, if we want to go back to the subconscious, so much of what we do is on autopilot, right? 95% of what we're doing is on autopilot. It's what we've learned. It's what we've seen modeled for us. It's what we've been told. It's how we've been conditioned. And so it really is the reason that I'm sharing this is because, I've done it both ways, and I don't damn myself. I think a lot of us have. I don't even damn the people that are doing it in the fear-based way, because like that's their own evolution, and I'm not responsible for that. I'm only responsible for the example that I'm setting and leading. And now that I know better, it's up to me to do better, right? And I just look at it as, now you have this, if you're listening to this or you're watching this, you have the knowing now to say, oh, fuck, like I know better. Okay, check in with myself. Is this out of fear or is this out of love? It's as simple as that. And it can be a 2 millimeter shift, or it can be, if there's fear coming through for me, because it still happens. I'm not, if once we're enlightened, then you're just chilling on the astral and like there's no reason for you to be here anymore. You would be dead. So there's a reason we're here. There's more to clear. There's more to heal. So when I feel the fear come up, or I feel the old conditioning come up, I get to say, okay, this isn't the truth of who I am. My soul would never tell me to do something out of fear or do something out of scarcity. This is more that's coming up to be healed. This is more that I just need to continue to send love to, right? Put it in the violet flame, send it off, right? Send off the beings, whatever you want to look at it as. But it's looking at, I do have the opportunity right now, and it's my responsibility in this moment, because I do know better, to do better and to show up in a different way, and to ask myself, what is keeping me from love? And all that means is that there's just more to heal. And when you're healing, the whole collective is healing, right? Because your very essence, you breathing, you speaking, you showing up on an Instagram story is healing as you're doing your work. And so it is your responsibility to show up and to be love and to be in love. And from there, then we're able to heal each other.
Yeah. And for those of you that are listening right now, and I've been in this place too. And sometimes speaking of the subconscious, have to pull myself out of it where I'm making it, completely a one or the other type of perspective. And if you're hearing that, oh, well, what I'm thinking that she's saying is that you can either act out of fear or you can act out of love. This is not an and or scenario. You can. That, bringing this full circle, that's your choice. You can choose to operate from a fear-based response to all things. That's fine. You can choose to want to come solely and completely out of love, but you can make it a both and. And I love that the example that you gave is if you're showing up on an Instagram story, and feel like you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, you can in that moment still show up and still do the damn thing. And that is responding from a both and. And an exact example where love is definitely rooted in my life and involved is when I got married, I was scared out of my fucking head. I had no idea what I was doing. I was like, oh my God, please don't let us get divorced. Oh my God, I hope everybody has a great time. Do I look, it was nothing that I was fully grounded into. I'm a hell yes. I was scared the fuck out of my mind. And you don't know how long a marriage is going to last. Look at the divorce rate, the success rate, right? But the idea is to go in from the place of choice. I'm actively making a choice, and choose it for yourself that life gets to be a both and that is not in choosing about what business you're going to function in, choosing what outfit you're going to wear that day. It's also in relationship with yourself. I get to have it both ways. I get to try things. I get to switch directions. I get to change my mind. And you also get to have that in relationship with other people, right? So it's not a fixed perspective love. It's super individual. And again, to bring this full circle, which Olivia is doing so beautifully for us, is that it's individual. It's your choice. You get to decide what love means to you. You get to decide what it means to you about other. And you also get to decide how it amplifies who you are in your business.
100%. And if I'm judging you, or if someone is judging you for that, they are not in love. Like, it is not my job to tell you what to do. It is not, even this whole conversation is completely through my lens, through what I believe, through what feels, open and expansive and good in my body. Like, this is such an individual thing. And so give yourself permission, like Shannon is saying so beautifully, of what does this all mean to you? And, something like, yes, you can be afraid and in love at the same time. Another piece of what I mean of it is, like, for me, if I go on an Instagram story and try to sell something out of fuck, oh my God, like I need to sell something, holy shit, like I'm freaking out, like there's no money, there's no people, oh my God, my bills, like that's fear, right? And people feel that. If I'm coming, it's a 2 millimeter shift. It's saying, I need to pay my bills. That's a very real thing. And I believe that I am so held and so supported. It's all working out. So what can I offer? How can I do my part, right? How can I show up and overflow? What do I need to do to reground myself, to drop back into love, to not be in the freak out, but be rooted, and then show up on Instagram stories and make my offer, and you're breathing love instead of fear. And that's what's either, if we go back full circle, everything is energy. You're either attracting in your business, in your life, or you're repelling. If you are in constant fear and anxiety, you're creating a certain life in that. When you're in love and trust, you're operating and creating a different life in that. And that doesn't, the universe, thank God, doesn't manifest instantaneously, because if we did, then, I would say, oh my God, I'm afraid. And then boom, more fear would show up. It's more, oh, I'm afraid. And I also have choice, and I have the responsibility here, and I have the resourcefulness. And who do I want to be here? What do I want to do here? If I want to choose to believe and embody love, and we get to show up from that space. And it's not always easy. It's simple, but it's not always easy. And and there's so much fear being breathed into us in every single aspect of our lives these days. It's in the media, it's on the news, it's, in even certain mentorships and certain programs and certain things that we're consuming and certain books. Like, there's so much fear everywhere. And so it's an act of you having to act of like, I am not going to let that pull me into it. I am going to remain so grounded and so rooted in love over here. And I can choose to see that, and I can choose to not let it permeate and go into my energy bubble, right into my space. And what boundaries do I need to continue to self-contain my love and then extend it out, but not deplete myself from that? Like, there's so many, like, we could go here, we could go here, we could go here, we could go here. Like, there's so many aspects to it, because you just have to make sure at the end of the day, yes, you are love, but what's your relationship? If we talk about relationship, like you always do so beautifully, to yourself. And first and foremost, the love has to be here. And that's when it can then extend out.
Thank you. Wow. So this is true Olivia Seline form. This is true Olivia Seline coaching style. This is true Olivia Seline truth right now. Just the talk and the conversation of magnetism and what it brings to you, and taking responsibility for the relationship that you're creating by leaning into yourself and realizing the choices that you're making all start from within. So for those that are tuning into this and are thinking to themselves, okay, I need to explore the magnetism with Olivia. I want to bring choice back to me. I want to take ownership back into relationship with myself. What do you have going on? Where can they find you?
Yeah, oliviaseline.com. Super simple. Olivia Seline on Instagram. Olivia Seline, the podcast. Soul in the Raw podcast will be coming back in the new year, so we're excited about that. Stay tuned. And that's really where everything is. I mean, my one-on-one coaching and energy healing work that I do would be what I would probably recommend. There's always little programs and little things you can get your hands on, little video series, whatever, that are always just, everything's on the website housed there. But something you can even do right now is, I've got great podcast episodes on this, but the book Dear Lover by David Deida, it'll change your life, and it'll teach you the embodiment of love and that sacred union through sex, through relationship with a partner. How you can open to love in a totally different way and really truly be love in a way that I had never heard explained, in the way that he so beautifully writes and articulates it. So I highly recommend that book to anyone. I send it to every single one of my clients when they sign on, because I'm like, you need this, you need this, you need this. Like, this is the foundation. This is where we start. And then that can obviously bleed into your business, into your, partnership, into your friendships, into who you're being in the world. And it just, he is so poetic about it in a way that I could never be. So highly recommend it.
Well, I think you undermine yourself. You are definitely poetic. And thank you for all of this. Thank you for your anecdotes. Thank you for your truth. Thank you for that share about the book, Dear Lover. And just thank you for being here.
Thank you. What a gift. What an honor. What a blessing. I like got emotional sometimes. Like, there's so much happening, so much, like, the energy in this container right now is like so good and so juicy and so magical. So thank you for having me.
And a big thank you to you, audience, for joining us. See the show notes. And if you are tuning in via YouTube, look for a freebie from me and for Olivia's links on how you can connect with her. And we'll throw in the Dear Lover. I'm sure it's on Amazon. We'll throw that link in there as well. And because love is meant to be shared and sharing is caring, if you love this conversation, if there's any pieces or parts of it that became meaningful for you or impactful for you, please share this content with a friend. Or if you have questions for us, feel free to message us directly at Olivia Seline, at Shannon Wooten on Instagram, or go to her website, my website, whatever serves for you, and ask us your questions. We'll be happy to address them in a timely fashion for ourselves, of course. Otherwise, thank you for being here. Be good to yourself, for fuck's sake, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.